Hello, Mr. Minnick here, helping my students with Intro to Computer Science Python worksheet number 1. Most of this is a matter of reading the directions and remembering the rules of algebra. So we have these expressions, and we want to plug in the values given up here at the top of the worksheet. And we want to plug the values in and show our scratch work as we go, arriving at a final answer that when we circle the final answer here for good style, we are sure to copy it over here, where the teacher is going to likely grade this worksheet. So numbers 1 through 3 are examples. I forgot to put the equal symbols in here like some math teachers stress, so I'm going to do that now. And some of the people that are actually watching this video right now in October 2018, this number right here should be 210. There was a typo earlier today. And let's just really quickly skim over number 1. In number 1, the variables num and sum are both referred to here in this little sample piece of code. But you're supposed to know, according to the worksheet, that the value 10 is currently stored in the variable num, and that the value 100 is currently stored in the variable sum. So with that given information, you should neatly print with a pencil, I prefer, right below the given expression. Line up the plus symbol in the numbers 10 and 100. And if you can print small, maybe you write the 110 right below that plus symbol, showing how the two numbers got married and became one married couple. So the married couple right here in the middle under the plus sign is the final answer. But some people don't have nice, small, tidy handwriting, so they just kind of continue the problem over here to the right using up this scratch area. I don't care as long as your answer is there somewhere and preferably circled. I like to see that my students know how to do scratch work, even if it's really simple like 10 plus 100. You can use a calculator here, but sometimes on tests, I or the AP College Board exam people don't allow you to use calculators sometimes. Some of this you'd have to do in your head or with scratch work. Number 2, be sure to follow the order of operations. When you plug the 10 and the 100 in for those two same variables, num and sum, by rewriting the star, meaning multiplication by the way, I added a set of parentheses here just as an internal note to myself that multiplication should be done before addition. That's the Python way. And the next step, if written nice and plainly, would be written either over there to the right where I already wrote it, or if you don't like writing it to the right here, if you have room, you would rewrite the 10, rewrite the plus sign right under, and this 100 times 2 should be 200. That 200 must be computed before you perform the addition and get the final answer of 10 plus 200, which I don't have room to write under, so I'm just going to write equals 210 here and circle that to show how I got the answer to number 2, which was already provided anyway. Hopefully there are no questions in the room right now, but if there are, raise your hands. Number 3, I'll let you follow that one on your own. There are some negative numbers involved that cancel out. You should know the rules of math by the time you're in 9th grade, I would say. But if you need help, see your math teacher or me or the appropriate tutor. Sometimes your parents can even help you with this. Now, your parents probably can't help you with this one, though. The double asterisk. Heck, your math teacher probably can't even help you with that. That's Python language. That's Python code, meaning num to the second power. Num in this case is 10. So we could rewrite this as 10 squared with the little 2 as a superscript. And that, of course, simplifies to 100. If you really want to break it down, it means 10 times 10. And then you could really show me extra scratch work and show me that that final answer there is 100. Of course, copying your final answer. So there was another freebie. Make sure that number 13, you do that the exponent operator first, according to order of operations. In number 12, make sure that you do the num to the power of 2 first before you do the subtraction, according to order of operations. If you have any questions about order of operations, like it says in the directions, look it up in the instructor's notes. I do have a web page, and there are at python.org probably explanations of what rules Python follows with regard to these symbols like, hey, look at number 9, that percent symbol. That percent symbol, according to order of operations, comes before the plus. It's tied with multiplication and division. And the percent symbol means find the remainder of. So in number 9, after plugging the correct value in for sum, which looks like it's 100 in this worksheet, after plugging that 100 in and rewriting the plus sign, 100 percent symbol 8 means find some area on your scratch paper, do 100 divided by 8, because that's what the percent kind of means. It kind of means 100 divided by 8. And we don't care about the actual division, the quotient. We really don't care how many times 8 goes into 100. We drop down this 0. That goes in there 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. We really don't care about the 12. We care about this final number that an elementary teacher taught you is considered the remainder. We don't keep going to decimal places. We stop right before we get to that decimal place, and we stop when, again, we learned that you have a remainder. So this right here simplifies to the number 4. And the next step, of course, 100 plus 4, 104. So there's a final answer to number 9, 104. Believe it or not, this percent symbol is used quite a bit in computer science. Look it up in the notes. It's called modulus, but some people just call it the remainder operator. It finds the remainder of 2 numbers when they're divided. In number 8, you'll be doing the modulus first before that plus. In number 7, you're going to be doing the exponent operator first. In number 6, tricky, you're going to be doing the division first before the addition. Just saying, got to be careful here. And let's do number 16, because you might not remember from a previous day in the past week when we studied 2 forward slashes. Maybe you were absent that day. You can always type this into a Python software such as Replic's website, and you can always type print and then put inside the parentheses of print, instead of hello world, you could actually type out any one of these exercises. And when you hit the play button, it would show you in the output window what the final answer is. Now, I don't mind you checking your work in that way, but don't become overly dependent on the software or a handheld calculator when it's something that a piece of scratch paper and some knowledge in your brain could also compute with accuracy. There's a time and a place for all of this. There is not a time and a place to copy an answer off of somebody who sits next to you and then say, oh, I was getting help. In my class, the way I operate, I prefer that you come to me for help on these kinds of exercises. This is not a programming project where you're debugging some really tricky error on line number 816 or something. Okay, well anyway, number 16. We have to look up the value that's stored in the variable final. According to this worksheet, that would be a 7, and amount is a 2. So I plug the 7 and the 2 right in here wherever you have room. 7 /2 simplifies to, you want to say 3.5, because 7 divided by 2 is accurately 3.5. But that's what you would get if you have a single slash. Here, because of the double slash in Python, it chops off the 0.5, and the 0.5 never becomes part of the answer. Final answer here is 3. It does not round up to 4 either. Don't change it to 4. The answer is 3. It's just the way it is, and sometimes we want to use the /. It's called integer division, and I'll read about it more in the notes. Okay, the last thing I'll say is that number 17 is very tricky. A little number divided by a big number, you often think of it as something with no remainder, but there is. I'm telling you there is. It might be found in my lecture notes. It might not be. Resourceful, go-getter student that may work at Google someday, like a number of my former students in the last 10 years, or other places like Snapchat, Hulu, Amazon, Microsoft, you would figure it out. The boss, like in this case, the teacher, doesn't always know everything, nor is he or she available to be a quick answer to something. You need to look things up in the online API that we've already learned, which is like the online driver's manual that you have to pass to get your driver's license. So look it up to see how this works, or test it out in your Python software. Okay, in closing, anytime I have a worksheet like this, if there's an error, write error on the line provided. There may not be any errors here. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.